It's always best to give it a second, go back and watch the tape, and then give your opinion. But there were some plays that happened in that game. I didn't need to think any longer than just like, what the hell is happening? Okay. And so when it comes to this game, I'm very interested to getting your actually true thoughts after watching this breakdown of this team. I believe was doing what was necessary to win this football game. And like we always say, only worry about the things that you can control. Only worry about the things you can control. And that's exactly what they did. What you can't control are these bozos who are so quick triggered to throwing that flag. And there are going to be times when I show you these clips that the flags were justified. But when it comes to, okay, if you're going to call it this way when we're on the field, then when it happens when Mississippi State is on the field, call it the same way. I'll show you some examples. I would love to show you every single penalty that happened. We don't have time, all right? We'll probably shut Oakland down before we can get through it all. So let's go ahead and hop into the tape. Let me go ahead and blow it up a little bit bigger for you. And this is a flag that got picked up, okay? But I think this is a perfect example about how trigger-happy these officials were. This ended up being a pass interference call that got picked up, okay? So you see right here as the play develops, the quarterback is eyeing down who he wants to throw it to. DB in good position, great coverage. And then it gets to this point right here. The receiver runs the wrong way. The receiver ran it almost like a corner route, and the quarterback threw it like a post route. The ball was nowhere close to this at all, and I was at the stadium in that end zone watching this play from above. I watched the whole thing develop because I felt like that's where the quarterback wanted to go. And the DB was just running, and the receiver ran into him, created the contact, but still – nothing made me feel any type of indication like a flag was coming out. But just how quick that this referee pulled this flag and threw it gave me the indication that they are looking to call the place. And so if that's the tone of the game, then so be it. But for some reason, it wasn't going both ways. I don't know what is happening out there on that field. I'm still very curious if this this officiating crew doesn't get some type of suspension or at least looked into. We're going to have Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, on the buzz tomorrow, and we're going to talk to him in person. And we will be asking, when things are so lopsided, 18-4, do y'all look into this? Because if not, then we got a problem. So that'll be a really good conversation. We're talking to the SEC commissioner tomorrow. Make sure you tune in on The Zone. We'll have him on around 11 a.m. tomorrow, 103.7 The Buzz. But now this flag does get picked up. All the other officials came in and said, whoa, 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 whoa. What do we got going on there? And if y'all leaving comments, I can't see it right now, especially like this guy right here in the end zone saying, hey, man, what are we doing? I would say this was, if you could freeze frame shots of the crowd through most of the game, most people were doing this right here. And I understand exactly where you're coming from. So I'll check your comments in a little bit. Usually when I pull up my tape, I can't see it, okay? So let's get into this play right here. Great read by Tayen Green. I will say Mississippi State did play this read option fairly well. Not as good as Notre Dame did, but a really good team. And so we had to be very intricate in making sure that Tayen made the right decision, which he did, okay? And this is where it gets interesting, okay? So once he gets out here and he picks up the first, this is undoubtedly a hold by Jalen Platt, okay? It is a hold. I don't care what anybody says. You look at the tape. The linebacker tries to get out. He holds him, pulls him around. You got to throw that flag. However, then you get to this right here, okay? Tayen Green giving himself up. I'm going to show you an angle and slow this down a little bit more to why I think a lot of Razorback fans and coaches and all that stuff were starting to get extremely frustrated with these flags that were being thrown. The thing about it is, if you call that on Tayen Green, these penalties offset. This is the fourth quarter. You're trying to go down and create more space, but we get the holding call instead. So once again, you get in this spot, and as I slow it down right here, you can see that is a hold. I'll give it to you. Well, it is what it is. But then you got to look at the ball carrier. Right now, this is where Tayen starts to give himself up. In my opinion, this is enough time for this defender to know that Tayen is giving himself up. He's already passed the first down line. You're not trying to, like, stop him at the goal line. I think this is pretty clear cut. And now I also will admit this. Sometimes I feel like the referees call this a little too close. Sometimes it's tough. I don't know if this guy intentionally was trying to hit Tayen late or not, but you end up getting this this look right here. Most of the times from what I have seen lately in college football, flags come out right there. And if that's how the game is going to be called, fine, if you don't throw the flag. But I'm going to show you examples where we hit their quarterback a lot less than this, and flags were flying like crazy. It made no sense. Such a big called one way and not the other. All right, let's go ahead and keep this thing moving. You get to another situation right here. This may be, in my opinion, out of all the calls between this one and then the first roughing the passer on Quincy Rhodes that I just don't understand. Fernando Carmona, you couldn't, if you were to put together, hey, what's the perfect way to do a zone reach and block a defensive lineman? I would show them this clip right here. One, it's a very impressive block. And it's even more impressive that he's doing everything not to get a penalty to stay on his front side. I would say clinic tape, this is how it's done. I don't know what the officials are looking at right here that would make them say, we got to throw a holding on that one. Does a great job, finishes the block. I mean, that is perfect. Shocked that a flag came out right here. And it's not just me who was shocked right here. Look at this, fourth quarter, and that was a first down play, okay? 35-28. The momentum going right there, most likely keep it going, get yourself at least a field goal, okay? But the ball comes all the way back, and now you're dealing with a 1st and 20. Instead, huge bad call in this game. The crazy thing about it is you take a look at the players trying to figure out, even Carmona's like, what idiot messed up this play, all right? Who's holding us back on this one? I could see it in his eyes. And then to his shock and disbelief, along with almost everyone else in that stadium except the officiating crew, Coach Petrino is trying to figure out what's happening. But Carmona's reaction, I mean, at this point you can't do anything but shake your head and laugh it off. Here's another look. Carmona, don't change a thing. Hands, great. Finish the play. Wow, y'all. That one changed, in my opinion, the outcome of the game. Now, I just showed you that clip of Tayen Green, okay? And we're getting a little too close. Take a look at Xavier Sori right here. Ball still in quarterback's hand. He's getting pushed from behind, okay? And then he gets a little boom right there. Doesn't full tackle him to the ground. I can get it if it was being called like that the whole game, but it was not. I don't see how you let it fly when you have that hit on Tayen and then call this one right here. Doesn't make sense. I mean, we got to look into this crew. And now that was a completion, but you give them extra yards tacked on right there. This is the other big one we were talking about, up 35-28. It's fourth quarter. Great play on a first down, getting negative yards. It's about to be 2nd and 20. Love it. Take a look at this official right now. He is about to put the whistle in his mouth. Don't put this on the player. Officials, as soon as you saw him going backwards, you should have blew that whistle immediately. We actually had sound from Quincy Rhodes earlier talking about, I felt like I was going back, but I didn't hear a whistle, so I'm just going to finish the play. And so this right here, this throwing it down, are you kidding me? Number 6 was breaking tackles all freaking day, okay? Quincy's in a situation was like, I have to give everything I can to get this guy down. He's been breaking tackles, okay? So, and as far as football is concerned, that is not a big suplex or anything. Nothing that I think warrants an official to lose his mind and throw a flag right here. So it gets flagged. Quincy, I say don't change a thing, man. Quincy Rhodes was playing the game the way it was supposed to be played. Refs holding you back on that one, man. Hate it. That's it. That was everybody. Look at my girl right there. I tried to slow down and figure out what she was saying. I'm assuming she was giving Coach Petrino a run for her money with how impressive she can put cuss words together. And I get it. I give it to you. All right, y'all, let's keep this thing rolling. I'll take a look at the comments here in just a second when I can see them, all right? This one right here, like I said, outside of the Carmona play, I mean, it just makes me mad every time I see this official hop on the screen. Quincy, once again, just trying to figure out, what do you want me to do? Great get off. I love that they moved him inside. We talked about that earlier, moving him inside in that 3 technique area, letting him use all that explosiveness. Great adjustment that we've made in the second half of the year. I love him right there. But does a great job, gets pushed in the back, the ball still in the quarterback's hand. And he is in a full out trying to get this sack right here. And then that happens. That warrants an unnecessary roughness. Are you kidding me? I feel like Coach Petrino when I said that. Coach Petrino said, are you effing kidding me right now? All right, and so all of this is just building up the tension. Everybody in the stadium is just losing their mind. And then this is the play that I think set it off, all right? Great play call. My nephew was actually in the end zone saying, I bet they give it a shuttle to Rohan Jones right here. Great job shuttling, but just take a look as I freeze frame it right here, okay? Ball comes out. Defender sees it, and I would say just like Quincy Rhodes, I'm okay with this, all right? But then you get right here, full extension, and then you finish him to the ground. What is the difference? There is zero difference in that, and you got a referee that's standing right behind him looking at all this, okay? That's what set everything off, because after this play, they don't show it on TV. They both got up. They both started chirping a little bit, and then that's just when players came onto the field, flags get thrown. Now the tensions are extremely, extremely high within that stadium. Actually thought it was really cool, all right? People were responding. We said enough of this, and this is where Coach Petrino has to step in and do his thing. A lot of people were going back and forth about, like, he can't cost the team these penalties, and I agree, but we've also, as a fan base, how often have we talked about we are waiting to see this type of fire again on the sideline? How many times did we see all things fall apart and we went to shots of the sideline and it seemed like some people just didn't bring that extra juice to get their team going? We've been complaining about it for a while, and now we get it, and the whole stadium responded. It was amazing. Everybody pulled out their phones and said, Bobby, go get him. Bobby, go get him. And then now, do I think at this point, maybe you got to start thinking he's mad? You see what he's doing, right? He's saying he's pushing my guy into the ground. You call it when my guys do it to them, but when they do it to us, it's the exact same thing. So justified in his frustration right here. But then this is when at this point, the official it's actually crazy. His daughter posted this on Twitter. The official could just walk away. He could. He wanted to throw that flag. Look at him. He couldn't wait to pull that thing. You see him right there? And then it goes out. Then I think that's when Coach Petrino said, Now, the thing is, right after this, I think a lot of teams in basketball do this. Speaking of basketball, the Hogs are playing right now. Very excited to see them get things going. They're a 21.5-point favorite going into this game. I think it'll be fun. Tip-off literally right now. But I will say this. You see basketball coaches do this all the time to get their team fired up, and I really feel like Coach Petrino did that to get his team going, and he was pissed at the same time, which is justified. And then you get a response like this, up 2 touchdowns, and then your defense comes out and says, we got you, coach. We got you. You couldn't ask for a better football play. We've been wanting our guys to be physical, aggressive, meeting them at the line of scrimmage. Stop tiptoeing back there. Great play by Larry Worth coming downhill, and that place was electric. And the thing about it is no one thought twice about this play. Fans cheering. Mississippi State lines up back up on the ball. The quarterback's not worried about it at all. We're about to line up, and literally right before the ball is snapped, the officials step in and say, whoa. Let's take another look at that. What are we doing? What are we doing? And this is where I think this game of football, when it comes to player safety, they have to figure out something. The fact that they went back and looked at this and still threw Larry Worth out of the game. Look, I'm going to show this clip right here. You see this guy? This is the fullback lead blocking. When you play football, okay, helmet-to-helmet contact happens, I would say, about 98% of the time. It's inevitable. The helmets are big. You go down, it's every single time. I promise you. Look right here. Look at this block. Let me zoom in for you. Helmet-to-helmet happens every single play. I mean, I could probably freeze frame it on 6 guys as I let this play roll on. Now, you don't call that, okay? It's just a part of the way that all this works when playing tackle football. And so that doesn't get called. I don't expect it to get called. Larry Worth comes downhill, does a great job, and right here, he's in great position. But as he gets closer, when the quarterback lowers his head too, what do you want him to do? Quarterback puts his head down too. It's almost inevitable that you get helmet-to-helmet contact. I don't know how they review this and don't have that same conversation and say, that's just a good football play. Nope, we're going to screw Arkansas today, okay? Coach Petrino just made us mad. We're going to show him. I'm not sure what's going on. I saw a clip in the NFL where they fined Saquon Barkley $46,000 for trying to break a tackle, saying he led with his head. It's getting out of hand, y'all. We have to figure this out quick, or it's just going to be tough to watch, because I thought that was an amazing play. Amazing play. As I was talking about earlier, penalties aside, now there's still much football to be played, and there's still areas on that field that I believe Arkansas could have done their part to win this football game. Hence, they started off great. They did have a couple things not go their way, and I didn't know this before it started. I didn't know that Amarian Harris and Cade Kittler were both hurt in practice. Big loss for the Hogs. I'm going to show you exactly why. So let's take a look at the opening drive, okay? And this is exactly what you want. Get Taylor out of that pocket. He's very comfortable throwing across his body. Get some play action going. And great first play. Gets it to you-know-who, his guy, Omega Blake, to get that thing rolling first play out of the gate. Then you marry it back up. And I like guys that are locked in right here. Omega does a great job knowing that pressure's coming, points it out, and people make adjustments on the fly. Carmona picking this block up is amazing. But then, once again, Omega, you pointed out that guy was coming. Okay, cool. That's who you were going to block in the first place, right? Or maybe go down and block, and maybe he's going to be kicked out by that offensive lineman. I don't know. But what I do know, Omega, that you are not supposed to be blocking that linebacker right there. That's who that tight end's pulling around for. Just take a look. If you push this on up and go and get that block downfield, like I said, you got a guy in Mike Washington, doesn't need much. That's the guy. That was your block right there. If you get that one, he probably cuts it up underneath that lineman. Then you got two guys out blocking that dude downfield. Could have been a touchdown on the first drive. It would have been fun. But still, great job moving that ball. Get to a situation right here. Clean pocket, okay? This is a spot where if you go back and look, Taylor does have some opportunity to be a little bit more patient. But I want to point out, like I talked about in this situation, so you had Amarian Harris that was hurt, and then Shaq McCroy got hurt maybe on the first or second play of the game. Broussard, a young guy, came in, number 75, and this is going to be a big learning game for him, okay? I've heard some reports that this guy is super talented. I mean, for asking a freshman to come out here and play at an extremely high level last minute, that's a big ask. He's a big ask. He said, I heard that he had some good ones and not so good ones, a lot to learn from. The key thing about it is you're going to see a few guys like this. You hope to keep them next year, something to build on. But this is great spot right here. You can't try to finish this guy to the ground by torquing him, okay? Learning tape right there. That right there was enough to go ahead and get that penalty. So, that once again, first drive was going really, really well, but it comes back negated, and now it's trying to get in front of the chain. So you get another play, moving very well. Good job by Mike Washington keeping that thing rolling. Then you get to your first third down. Taylor notices pressure coming up, changes the play, and this is a new play design I haven't seen yet. At first, I thought they messed up, but this is designed. They want to make it look like a read, but then they're going to adjust their track and get to an option play, okay? It's going to be a pitch man. So they both fake it, and now they get to this right here. Now you got a decision to make, Taylor, and we're going to pitch it or keep it. I actually think he made the right decision right here, just based off what this guy on the end of the line of scrimmage is doing. He's trying to play both a little bit more, leaving him some wiggle room in case he pitches this ball. Great fake on the pitch, but then you see it get all muddied up right there. So this is where the young guy, we got some work to do, okay? So Grant Cook, I'm sure he'll break this one down. I don't know if he's watching right now. And so when you get a new guy in, things are moving fast. I always say this, you have to stick to your technique. The little things matter. When you're front side and you're reaching out to the right, your first steps are crucial. His first step is with his left foot, okay? I know he's not coached to do that. This is where young guys got to lock in and take their reps serious whenever they get them in practice. First step with this left foot, and then that's what happens. Because you got the guy inside of you doing what he's supposed to do, and you're stepping with the wrong foot. You're not going the wrong way, but that's why when coaches say these little things matter, you're like, okay, coach, you owe me about my footwork. This happens. Step on his foot. Now you get all tangled up, and now you go down, okay? They're supposed to be working up to that backer, but once that happens, it muddies everything up. Imagine if he doesn't fall down and he stays on this block. Taylor has a track on this third down to pick up an easy first down. So once again, play call was there. Execution, small things, coachable things, holding the team back. And you got to hate it. I think if Amarian Harris is in on that, that would be a first down. Not trying to give too much heat on the young guy, but once again, he's in a tough situation right here. Another situation, Tayen saw that pressure was coming from the backside. He ends up checking the play, does a great job. And then right now, once again, young guys in here, he's moving a little bit slow. He's thinking out there. He's processing, and he has a hard time trying to get up in here and get that block for Mike Washington to spring him. Once again, I'm telling y'all, when it comes to Petrino, this guy can cook up some offensive plays. It's just tough when you don't have your guys out there. And I would say for the most part, Coach Petrino would love to get even more of his guys. Can't ask for a better play call, just bad execution. And I don't mean to get on the young buck out there. Like I said, this is going to be a big learning tape from him. This is third play in a row. Footwork is everything. Once again, slow off the ball, finds himself in a situation where he can't get this block. I actually think Braylon Russell did a really good job right here, understanding that that's who that guy is supposed to have. That right tackle is supposed to have this guy off the edge. He looks inside. He's like, oh, I know I'm supposed to have this dude blitzing, but this guy needs help. So I think he took the most dangerous man and was hoping Tayen would make something work. But just imagine if Braylon gets that block inside, Tayen has more time in that pocket to convert on a 3rd and 9. You see it right there. Braylon sees it, but just slow footwork and being laid off the ball. Very tough for the young kid outside. Even though I will say, impressed with him being thrown in last minute, not expecting to probably get many reps. That's why I tell these guys, you got to be ready. You got to take practice serious. Even when you're doing reps by yourself, they need to be full speed just in case your number gets called. Here's one right here. I think Tayen, man, he's hit or miss with these zone reads. Sometimes I was talking to Grant. I do believe he makes his mind up before he gets the ball in his hands, and he needs to take more time reading this. I think this one based off, you can see that guy standing right there. If he hands this one off, look, that's blocked up beautifully backside. They do such a great job, Mississippi State front side, trying to contain Tayen, and that's kind of what you get right here. Once again, very tough on that first down, but had an opportunity to get a gash if he handed that ball off. Here's another situation right here. Tayen in the pocket, kind of scrambling around. But as we go back and look, the guy had time, all right? So what's going on downfield? This is where Tayen needs to trust what is going on and look at what the defense is giving to you. So he's looking at Omega Blake right now, okay? Let me go ahead and put a little circle on Omega. Omega's up here. But you see that corner, how far back he is? He's not opening up that window like he wants him to. Tayen wants that DB to go down here and account for this running back coming out of the backfield. But Tayen, it's 2nd and 8. If he doesn't do it, just get the ball out to Mike Washington. Just give it to him now. That's literally what it's designed for. If he doesn't cover him, quickly make that decision. Get it out to Mike and get this thing rolling. But he holds on to the ball. Still, look at this as it develops even more. I think Tayen, once again, sometimes when he gets a little rattled, you got a new right tackle out there. You're not too confident in it. You stop going through your progressions. Tayen, we got to get away from that, man. These plays are built in to give you safety valves just in case something goes wrong or your number one read's not there. Trust the process. We got to get through that. We got to get over that. We got to get over that. All right, another spot right here. As much as I talk about that, this is what comes with Tayen. You get some situations where you like throw the ball. Then you get situations where you think, thank God Tayen's on the field with his legs. A 3rd and 8, picks it up with his legs. So that's going to be his MO as fans. Like, if you want a guy who can convert 3rd and 8 when all things fall apart because no receiver was open right there, that's just what comes with it. You would love to have both, but there's not too many guys that are that athletic and can make plays with their legs that they can also sit in the pocket and pick people apart like Peyton Manning. They ain't got too many of them. All right, let's go ahead and keep this rolling. This is going to be a 1st and 10 because then you get plays like this, outside of the pocket, on the run, throws the ball on the money. Great play, great throw by Tayen Green. He shows those moments when he can get it done. All right, let's go ahead and get to this one right here. Mike Washington, great job. This is when we start getting into some motion. So a lot of people were thinking, why did we not run the ball more? The running game was doing so well. It was over 200 yards on the ground. Mike Washington, another 100-yard day. And when we don't make penalties or mistakes, that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to keep the ball on the ground. Once again, we're just chipping away, 10 yards, 7 yards. Then you get 4 yards, and then you get situations where you put yourself behind the sticks. all this pre-snap motion, these are called indicators. And Tayen needs to see these indicators. As soon as that tight end comes in motion, you see the communication happen in the backfield. You see they're talking to each other. They are now saying, hey, he came over. Me and you now got this guy in the running back man-to-man. They're telling you what their hand is. We got another pre-snap indicator. We got Raylan Sharp coming in motion. That guy follows him. Huge alert. Hey, y'all, it's man-to-man coverage. Now that you've done all these things pre-snap to get an idea what the defense is doing, now you know what they're in. All these guys are in man-to-man coverage, which if you find yourself in trouble, where's it coming from? Tayen should know that leaves that guy on the edge as a blitzer. And I wouldn't even say blitzer, that pressure's coming. That's at least something he should think, okay, I know what these guys are doing. My guys have this protected up front. The only thing I need to kind of check on is if this guy comes or not. And doesn't even look his way, doesn't even feel him coming. Because think about this. This is a 2nd and 7 man-to-man coverage. You got this rub concept up on the outside. Shallows are perfect in man-to-man coverage. Ball should have been out now, but you end up not getting it out fast enough, even though every pre-snap read let you know that it was coming. And then you get this. Now, Tayen, I will say this. I need you to stop doing all this, all right? I'm not going to lie. I was up in the stands, and I said, oh, no, Tayen's hurt. All right, but he's kidding with us, all right? Quit that stuff. I ain't got time for that. Now, I don't know if this was a rehearsed celebration, okay? Great play, great job getting to the end zone, but you really sold it. I really thought you pulled your hamstring. Is Carmona in on this, or did he think you were hurt too? Because if Carmona's not in on this, one, great job with the fake. But if he is in on this, then that's one hell of a celebration. But if you know that he's faking Carmona, we need to send you to Hollywood ASAP and get you a job in acting, man. You sold me on that one. That's another reason I thought he was actually hurt. I can't tell. Okay, maybe you were in on it. I don't know, man. I think he thought he was hurt. I got to ask Carmona that one. Once again, great job, great read, making the right read sometimes, not on other times. The consistency or lack of consistency from Tayen Green is extremely frustrating, but I don't think is the reason why we lost this football game. Quit playing with my emotions like that. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this tight end. Great play design. I thought the whole way that thing was going to the right side of the line of scrimmage. Now, here's a coaching point. Grant Cook's going to point this out. Big fella out there. You're not going to catch that DB. I promise you. Throw at him. And now what I mean by that when I say throw at him, literally just launch your body and just try to get in his way to tangle him up, all right? That's just a coaching tip because if you get him out of the way, we potentially go score a touchdown right here. Great play call. Hey. What are we doing? You see these situations we're in? I guarantee you if that was Mississippi State, flags would have been thrown. No doubt about it. I get the frustration. And then I wanted to point out this one. I was giving my guy, the freshman, a hard time. But this is a potential bright spot for our future. Once the game got going, once he kind of settled down a little bit, great job, big fella, pulling around, getting a block in space. I see you. Two-play drive goes in for a touchdown, up 28-21 now. Just tough situations right here. All right, here we go. Now I'm back on my young fella. I wanted to show him some love because I'm about to get on him again. I believe he's supposed to block this guy on the outside because when you look at the blocking scheme, you kind of see who people are working towards. So when I say that, usually some linemen come together, they double team one person, and then they work up to a linebacker. And based off what the backside is doing, everybody is working up to an extra linebacker, and I believe he left this guy thinking that he was not in this play. He missed right there. So once again, you get in situations where you had a great opportunity to have a big-time play right there because it's blocked up well outside of his block. Once again, I think when you get a young guy in there, Coach Petrino is just like, oh, I'm calling up some really good plays. My guys just aren't holding it down. Once again, another good opportunity to learn from right there. You can kind of see him kind of over here in no man's land. He looks like he's working up to that backer that's right in front of him. But if you look at these offensive linemen right here, they're actually working up to him. So that was the indicator that he just blocked the wrong guy. And that's exactly what you want right there as far as him front side and everybody blocked up. I'm taking Mike Washington all day. Little things continue to hold us back just a bit. All right, another situation right here. I'm on them, y'all. But you can't get away from your technique, big fella. All right, I know these guys seem fast, and it's a lot faster than practice. But you can see how straight up he is right now, not doing a good job with his kick slides, and he turns his feet and he starts chasing. Can't do that. Getting away from that technique. Just trust what you're coached to do. Changes everything right here. This is a 3rd and 10, okay? Tayen starts feeling that pressure, has to step up into the pocket, ends up missing downfield throws, ends up throwing it up for a little Hail Mary, trying to make something happen. Now, however, Tayen, once again, I wouldn't be on to you if I haven't seen this before. You feel the pressure, okay? Look at the pocket. This is similar to what you did when we were on the road at Ole Miss. You felt pressure. You stepped up in the pocket. You got back into it, and you kept your eyes downfield. I know you're capable to do this. I know you are. If you would have stayed in there right now, look at this open up at a 3rd and 10. Omega Blake. You see him right there in the middle of the field. Sorry. And let me put a little highlight on him. Let me go back just a smidge. Yeah, look at Omega right here. If this ball comes out, then you got a shot at a 3rd and 10 conversion right here, and you got protection, all right? And the only reason I'm giving you a hard time, Tayen, because I've seen you do it before at a very high level, and when you did it, we gave you all the praise in the world. We just needed to have some carryover a little bit later on. Sorry, I accidentally had this clip in here. This is, once again, see, does it not make you just mad? How's that not thrown? I wanted at least offsetting penalties right there. Even though, yes, I think it's a little soft. It was a hold, but they were calling on us all day long, and we couldn't catch a break at all. Defensively, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the defensive side of the ball. I got to give credit. I'll be on y'all a lot. Quincy Rhodes, that's how you play football, big dog. Great job getting off the line of scrimmage, explosive, played physical. Don't change a thing, young man. Really like the way you're playing right now. Cam Ball, what's up, bro? I'll see you. See what happens when Cam Ball get a little rest? When he's not tired out there, 6'7", whatever all that stuff is. Great move right here. This offensive lineman, really heavy, bad technique. Great little, watch this. Give me a little jab move. I'll tell you, when Cam's fresh, you can play some good football, all right? And then I got Collins out there, little Charlie Collins. Great job with your technique. Good job being an athlete. Better job making a tackle. Come on now. Defense was doing the thing. I give it to you, all right? Big time. And I love this one too. I already showed it. But that's the way the game is supposed to be played. And so I hate that we were being penalized for playing aggressive and physical. And I think this is just really good tape to show, because I know we've talked about this a lot. And let me bring this up full screen, because I want y'all to hear me when I'm saying this, all right? I do not condone losing by any means. We're 2-7. That's awful. But we got to be the best 2-7 team in the history of college football. We got to be. I mean, think about that for a second. If you go back and look at all our track record, outside of one game, Notre Dame, everybody has one. And we're playing an extremely tough schedule. It's just so weird this coming out of my mouth. We're a good football team, and we've actually gotten better the second half of the year. We just don't know how to win a football game. It makes no sense. Usually teams that can't win are bad football teams. And so this is an anomaly, and I will only say that, and I'm going to leave it alone, okay, because I can't even believe I'm saying that. But you got to call a spade, man. This team has gotten better since that Notre Dame game, and there's no doubt about it. And I'm not vying for making sure that Coach P needs to get the job or not, but I'm not going to sit here and just bash these dudes to bash them. They are playing some good football. Now, they're also playing some bad football too, all right? Now, Stephen Dix, I've been on you for a while. And just like I've been on Cam's been playing good, I'm off of Cam, all right? I need you to figure something out, especially when it comes to tackling in open space. Now, it gets to a point how I used to be on Hudson Clark back in the day. Love the way that Hudson played, very passionate player. He was going to give you 100% all the time. But in man-to-man coverage, he was a liability. At first, I used to get mad at Hudson Clark. And then I got mad at the coaching staff, because they should know this guy struggles doing this. Stop putting him in those situations to not succeed. Same thing with Stephen Dix, okay? You put Hudson Clark in zone, he gets you 3 picks against Ole Miss, all right? Man-to-man coverage, different ball game. Stephen Dix, when it comes to one-on-one responsibilities, covering a running back, any team that has any kind of an offensive coordinator with a brain, they're going to isolate him and put him in one-on-one situations. You can't put him in these situations. We've seen too many times on tape when it comes to open field tackling with space. It's not your guy. You got to keep him inside that box, all right? He's big, strong. That's where he needs to live. not out there in space. And now also at the same time, Dix, just pull the trigger, man. What are we doing? The ball's in the air. Just go be an athlete and go tackle this guy. Stop trying to stop your feet, shuffle them, line it all up. Just go hit him, all right? Just pull the trigger. And then we go make this play. Don't break down right here. Oh, God, that's tough. Number 6 was a little shifty. I'll give you that. All right, let's keep this tape rolling. Another situation when opportunities present themselves, man, we have to do something special. 14-20 right here. Had a great opportunity for a turnover. Now, I will say this. This would be a very, very impressive interception. But if you want to be big time in the SEC, if you want to be somebody that deserves that starting spot, being looked at as a leader, you got to make these catches. Now, like I said, I talk to Caleb Wooden each and every week. I know he's looking at this, and I know he's thinking, I got to get that play, all right? But I have to do my job too, and I got to show you areas of missed opportunities, and you can see it in his face right here. You know it. We got to come down with that ball. Got to come down with it. I mean, we've been talking about how we need turnovers. They gave us one right there. Then you get to this situation, y'all. 3rd and 12, even overcoming all this BS, defense steps up, and when they bring the house, this is what it needs to look like, okay? This is exactly what it needs to look like. You have to win your one-on-one battles, and you have to come off the ball and get off these blocks. Great job corralling that pocket right there because everybody else was in man-to-man coverage, okay? Let's go to a 4th and 6. Our DBs in man-to-man coverage. Coaches, if we do this, you better make sure whatever blitz you got dialed up gets there as soon as possible. Because if it gets blocked up at all, we're in trouble. We got guys who struggle in man-to-man coverage with no help. This is a 4th and 6, and you can see right here, this ball, in my opinion, if that were them, in the slot with all that space, nobody helping underneath, look at this right here. That's so easy, so easy. Now, the thing about it is this is Davila, and this is number 3. And this is all on that last drive of them going down. They converted 2 4th downs. Not 1, but 2. The thing about this, there's not a question in my mind that they at some point had a conversation on the sideline of saying, hey, if number 21 is on us with man-to-man coverage, coach, I'm your guy. The same, because just remember this look right here, okay, how they guard that in man-to-man coverage. Now, this right here, the football gods that were on their side. That should have been ball game. Underthrown ball. He slides down and then catches this. That's a hell of a catch. You got to give him that. Defense was in the right spot. God, that was tough. But then you get to this 4th and 4, okay? And this is the last play we'll show. Actually, I got 2 more. Once again, Davila, man-to-man coverage. Guy comes in motion to make sure he's off coverage. And then right here, this is where the game is on the line, Davila. You got to make this play. Receiver comes down short of the game-winning first down. All you got to do is get this stop. You have to be able to get back to your technique and make this tackle. You have to. No excuse, man. No excuse. Head up, wrap up. You've been learning this from day one. You just can't throw out there and miss like that. However, now that that's out of the way, you got 2 guys, literally, game on the line. They got 1 timeout, 51 seconds left. Stop this guy. I don't care if it's at the 1-yard line. Give your team a shot to at least keep them out of the end zone. They're down by 4, so they can't settle for a field goal. And then you get this. I don't understand why Caleb Wooden is taking this angle to the end zone. If he gets in there, game's over, all right? You have to make sure this angle is before that pylon, all right? Bad angle here, not sure what's going on, okay? And then you get this missed tackle. I mean, you got the sideline as an extra defender. Line this dude up, and hopefully he goes outside. And then you get right here, one last opportunity, back turned. If Caleb doesn't take an angle to the end zone where it can't go, and if he takes it a little bit more direct towards this player, he hits him right in the back right here. But he ends up, that's tough right there. That is tough. Game on the line, and then that happens. And then to rub salt in the wound. Well, I'll tell you, this pissed me off, man. We talked about how they were calling stuff on their quarterback. Hands to the neck or shoulder or face head area. We all know how that should go. I think they maybe missed one right now. Whatever, okay? So the official comes up after that body slam and then drops another flag and throws it on us for intentional grounding. I felt like that one was on I took that one personal. Felt like he did that one on purpose. No need for that at all right there. So once again, tough film to watch. Still a lot of opportunities I felt like this team had outside of those awful calls to end up winning this football game. Things that they have to get figured out, not now, but right now.